Hey guys, so we're talking about adolescence, and I'm just going to start off with the questions. So the first question is describe the historical background and contemporary trends of adolescent health. So pretty much, adolescence is a phase of rapid growth and development, and so pretty much they're constantly moving. They're always trying new things. They're learning new trends, finding what works for them, what doesn't work for them, maybe new hobbies that they might like or that they're interested in. And ultimately, they're going to experiment with one another to find out what clicks with them and what they like and what they don't like. For the second question, to discuss factors related to adolescent health. So, pretty much, it has to do with your economic status, number one, where you were raised, by who. Again, some people come from single households, some have both parents, some have divorced parents, some don't have any parents and are fostered or live with their grandparents. So that's a big factor. How much money your parents might make is a big factor. Your health care, if it's offered. Maybe your school district, that could be different, even though your parents might make a lot of money if you're in a bad school district, or vice versa. Your parents don't make a lot of money, but you're in a good school district. That can determine some factors. The environment in general that you grew up in, necessarily. So, like I said, depending on which school district, you might have grown up in a nicer area than other people might. So that all has a big part to do with it. If you're involved in any extracurricular activities, I know that can be a big factor because I know for one, I was involved with a lot of sports, so I didn't really have time to really think about life or, I don't know, stressors in my life and what I was going to do next. I honestly didn't think about college until I was like just starting my senior year. Like I was really late in the game. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was always busy. And so if you're one of those adolescents that isn't always busy and doesn't have something going on all the time, you might forget, and you might not forget. You might lose track of time and just dwell on all the negative things in your life, or you might become overweight. So there's a lot of factors that go with that. Another thing that you might, so if you're, yeah, and another thing is if you have all this time on your hands, it might lead to other factors of smoking or doing drugs or drinking, behaving in sexual activities with other partners, multiple partners. Again, that could go hand in hand with doing sports, though. If you're on a sports team, that might open a door to all these other activities. So it really kind of just depends on who you are as a person and the factors that are around you. Let's see. Question 3. Explain the issues related to adolescent health. So some common real serious issues related to adolescent health is puberty, number one, because that's probably one of the biggest issues. Everybody goes through it. It causes a lot of emotional stuff, a lot of just physical changes going on. Obviously, you would want to have some type of health insurance going through that. If you don't have health insurance, that could be, another factor that you go through, especially for girls. They need to go to the gynecologist. Acne is a big thing when you're an adolescent. You're stressing over your skin. I have acne right now. Again, being obese is a big factor. Being malnourished, not eating. Maybe you have an eating disorder because you're so stressed out. So there's a bunch of different things that can go into issues related to adolescent health. A lot of it could also do with your parenting. So it's crucial to have like strict parents, not too strict, but strict enough that you're on top of your kids and, watching what they're eating, who they're hanging out with, what time they're coming home at night. If you don't have a parent like that in the household, then they're more likely to involve themselves in risky behaviors. Let's see. So, biological and psychological implications of adolescent health. So, biologically, goes back to puberty, right? Each person grows and develops differently through the changes. So, what one person might go through could be excruciatingly painful for another person. It also could be linked to specific genetic factors. So this goes back to where if you have a parent that's an alcoholic, there's a higher likelihood that you might become an alcoholic down the line. You have that addictive tendency just linked in your body through genetics, which sucks, but unfortunately is true. Psychological traits. So this is where a lot of self-esteem issues go on, mostly during puberty. A lot of eating disorders can happen because of the self-esteem issues, and that could go vice versa. It could be not eating at all, or it could be eating too much. And again, that's linked to depression and anxiety. We're stressing over schooling and our future, right? The unknown. We're worrying about if we fit in with our peers. We're worrying about what we should wear to school or to a dance. We're worrying about how to act around certain people. And all of these worries and anxieties and depression and stressors is also leading to more risky behavior because we want to fit in, right? Peer pressure. So if we're feeling all of these things, maybe, oh, drinking's not so bad or smoking's not so bad. Maybe I should have sex with him this way. He knows that I'm not a prude, things like that. So, and that can lead to more health problems down the line, especially if you're behaving in sexual acts that without using any type of protection, which a lot of teens unfortunately do. And then from the PowerPoint, because unfortunately I didn't get my textbook yet, so this is mostly just what I Googled on the internet, what I know from experience, and the PowerPoint. So for the next question, I use the PowerPoint a lot. So morbidity and mortality among children and adolescents. So in front of the PowerPoint, it says the most common cause of death is by unintentional injury, including suicide, which accounts for 3/4 of the mortality. So, I mean, sad to say, but it makes sense. Most of the deaths are caused by probably like a car accident, probably linked to drunk driving in some way, or unfortunately suicide, which is so high, it's disgusting that that's even a thing that children are thinking about. But when I interned in an elementary school last year, we actually had to call an ambulance, 911, to bring a student that was 8 years old to the hospital because of suicide ideations. And he's 8. So unfortunately, this is a really serious factor. What else does it say? It says other mortalities such as cancer has decreased, although death by infectious disease has increased due to HIV, and again, risky behaviors linked to HIV. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that cancer rates have decreased, but unfortunately it's increased with HIV and AIDS. It said that AIDS cases among adolescents are increased by 75% among 13 to 19-year-olds and 46% to 20 and 24-year-olds. So that's reflecting the continued risk of STD among adolescents and youths. Yeah, so I mean, it only takes one time to just not use that condom, and then next thing you know, you have HIV. And unfortunately, I didn't realize, when I read that, I was shocked because I did not think that it was that high, especially in children, and it is. That's really high, and that's really scary. The last question, identifying examples of adolescent health intervention programs and public health policies. So I have notes, if you can't tell that I'm reading off of notes, and I made school in big, bold letters. You got sex ed in school. You have this social workers in school that are helping just to talk to you one-on-one, but you also have other programs that the school offers. I mean, I know DARE is known not to work, but you do have programs similar to DARE that might work. I know SAD was a program. It was about drunk driving that we had in my school. And it's good. It's just good to have those programs with you because some people just aren't aware of the facts. I mean, I wasn't aware of the AIDS. So, I mean, it's good to, read up and get educated. Michelle Obama, she has that Hunger-Free Kids Act in schools. So no kid goes to school without eating. I know that was a big thing where I interned last year. A lot of the students either didn't have money or they couldn't afford to do lunches, and if the school didn't provide lunches for them, they'd be malnourished. And that's not fair. It shouldn't be like that. So it's good that they have a policy like that put in place to help them. A lot of districts like mine, we also had anti-bullying preventions. We had a CAPS program that I actually ran. And so it was good. I mean, I was in an elementary school, so they were all little kids, and they really, were interactive with it. But it's good to have programs like that in all of our schools, even the high schools, just so it's there. Because, with bullying comes, again, trying to prevent suicide. So, and that was another factor that was listed before of mortality. So it's important to get all aspects of the spectrum. And yeah, I mean, another policy that they have is children's health insurance. So they have Health First health insurance, which is Obamacare, or the Children Health Plus insurance. So, I mean, no matter what, they have some type of way of, being able to find some way of getting adolescent health and trying to stay away from those health risks that come with adolescence. I know I wrote down other notes, so I'm just going to say them. I know Hope for Youth is a great program that helps youth that have either led themselves down the wrong path or maybe were just found themselves on the wrong path, and that provides them with counselors and it's kind of like a rehab, but it's also it's outpatient, so you don't have to like live there or anything. And then there's also Covenant House, which is a place that I actually volunteered at. And this is for 18 to 21-year-old at-risk youth. And they're mostly homeless, so they're kids that really don't have a place. And it's a good place for them to go to if they need guidance, either for job searching, getting their schooling done, a place to stay, and save money while they're staying. So it's all around a really great program, and a really program specifically for at-risk youth. So yeah, that's pretty much everything, and I look forward to the next assignment. Bye, guys.